Hello, my name is Alisha Collins. I am the founder of Seed Studiolab at Acera School and the co-founder of Creative Learning Company. My practice as an educator revolves around two powerful concepts, storytelling and making, both of which are very intrinsic parts of our creativity and self-expression. Stories bring meaning to our creations, nurturing deeper self-connections. Storytelling transforms our intuition into more explicit understanding, allowing us to make sense of our world and experiences. Making, on the other hand, is a tangible representation of our ideas. When we make things, we bring our imagination, which is in our head, into the physical world by making things through our hands. Now, independently, both storytelling and making allow us to reflect, refine, and represent our experiences. What happens when you combine these two powerful experiences? How do you create different representations through storytelling and through making? When we tell a story, we make connections to our experiences through narrative representation. When we make things, we create representations through physical representation. Creating such multiple forms of representations fosters deeper understanding and meaning. So when we tell a story, we make connections to our ideas through that story. And when we make that same story tangible and concrete by making a physical representation of those ideas, it gives us another way of looking at those ideas. Now, when we construct something, when we construct representation of our ideas in more than one way, we make stronger, more powerful connections with those ideas. This allows us to create more intuitive insights about those ideas. So it's not the first time that somebody has thought about putting storytelling and making. Traditionally, people have made things that they use to tell a story. Cave carvings, shadow puppetry, they have done it through story quilts. All these are traditional forms of storytelling that is done by making something. Now we have new forms of tangible computational media that is changing the way we build things. By the term tangible computational media, I refer to the tools that allow us to construct physical objects that have computational abilities. I believe such computationally enhanced construction kits create these opportunities for us where we can engage with ideas and create something that is more tangible, more dynamic, more interactive. Many artists and designers have been using this medium to bring dynamic interactions to their stories, to their creation, adding to dynamic interaction to traditional modes of storytelling. But what about children? In this world of Internet of Things and the age of artificial intelligence, children indeed are growing up in the world where there are these tangible, dynamic interactions all around them. Still, we do not have enough opportunities for them to use these computational media to express themselves in more meaningful ways. There are a lot of makerspaces in school making an effort, which is very appreciative, to introduce engineering process, design process, making things. There is still a lack of personal meaning and relevance. Seymour Papert, who's my grant advisor, and I build on many approaches, and he shared this term constructionism that suggests that children learn best when they are actively and consciously engaged in constructing something that is personally meaningful to them. So how do you bring these meaning to what we teach? So I started exploring this term story making, which is a constructionist process that is a way to introduce new forms of storytelling and new forms of making through technologies. So for instance, in my experience, I have worked with children where they have created quilt that bring their ideas, emotions, and their perceptions of the world. For instance, there's this 9-year-old girl who made this beautiful quilt where she put 2 lights and a switch with conductive fabric. She expressed something that was really meaningful to her. For her, the most important object, which was the prompt, she made a gas stove with cylinder. So in India, we have these liquid petroleum gas cylinders that allows you to use stovetop. She made that liquid petroleum gas cylinder a switch. So when you touch that cylinder, there is light in the stove. So lights represented food. And this 9-year-old came from slums in Bangalore, and it was so fascinating for me to understand what is really her world. This girl had absolutely no background in electronics, but she navigated that through her story. Similarly, another girl created a story, a tangible book that told stories about water problems in her village and how to resolve it. So for all of us as educators, we need to find more ways to introduce technology as a medium of personal expression. We need to nurture their selfhood through technologies. We need to allow them to express themselves with technologies. We need to allow them to create their confidence with new technologies. We need to allow them to construct their personal meaning through the technologies and construct their selfhood through technologies.